It's day 11, and I want to start out by saying um, I know I've done a lot of videos where I said that I'm feeling so good and everything, and I have been in all those videos. And today there's a lot of pain. There's a lot of pain in me. By the way, I left my microphone at my mom's house, so I might be quiet on this video, but I'll get another one tomorrow. But I was going to say that um, I want to talk about how pain can be transcended because I'm in a lot of pain right now, and what the awareness can mean and what it means intellectually versus embodying it. So I'll start off by saying there's someone in my life that I've known for a long time that I just miss. I felt a very, very deep connection to someone. And it's someone I dated a while ago and broke up with, or we broke up. And very, very often she shows up in my body. And I want to reach out to her, and I want to call her, and I want to tell her that I miss her and I want to get her back. And I've had it for a while. Like, a lot of it comes up. And I know so much that what that pain actually is there's a part of me that I haven't accepted about myself and haven't connected to myself enough with. And I'll explain that in a minute. And, we know in this society that alcohol and drugs are an addiction. But this society does not raise the bar on what really an addiction is, because an addiction is also searching through Facebook all day. An addiction is also, wanting to control people. An addiction is worrying. Really, to me, an addiction is anything other than being in this moment, creating, expressing, allowing, being. Anything that's distracting you from that is an addiction. And as your awareness gets higher, you start to see so many other things as addictions, and you start to transcend it, and you start to not be in that addictive state. Well, there's someone that's just been in my past that I miss a lot of times. She's just really in my mind an addiction. There's a pocket when I was with her at times that felt so good. And it's fascinating because there's so many things about it that felt good. And I really think one of the things that felt good is there's many aspects, but she had a very dry sense of humor and had a sarcasm. And part of me believe sorry, I ran out of space. Part of me believes that one of the reasons that I felt so high when I was with her was because that dry sarcasm and the way that she delivered a joke so dryly made me feel a connection to her that I felt when I was a kid with my mom. This sounds kind of creepy and kind of weird, but when we were kids and we were developing, the highest form of connection we ever felt, the highest form of happiness, the people that we made our God, that what we believe is unconditional love is our parents, even if you rejected your parents. In fact, a lot of times people do reject their parents and then they go into relationships rejecting the relationships because when they were developing, they felt a high they felt this is the highest form of love. And when I rebel against my parents, maybe my parents yelled at me or whatever. This is why people often that are abused when they were young go into relationships later that are abusive, because when they're developing, they still think that this equals love. And it's craziness. And through meditation, a lot of times we can transcend that. But there's a feeling that I had where my mom, when I was a kid, was my best friend, and she had a very dry sarcasm and was so funny and just sometimes delivered stuff in a certain way. And this woman that I dated recently, it was not too recently, it's been a while now, but she had that. And she was just stunning to me and just meant so much to me in so many ways. And it was the most, this was the most addictive feeling I think I ever felt. It was such a high when I was with her, and it was crazy. And because it was such a high, she was a source of happiness for me. So it also had insane lows, and it had crazy drama in it. And it was like just so intense in so many certain ways, where it was a real high where I was just obsessed. And then it would be the most painful thing because I wanted to, keep that relationship working in an addictive way. And I lost myself in that relationship. I totally lost my need to expand, my need to evolve. In fact, when I was with her at times, I felt like, I don't even need to do my career. I don't even, why bother? Because this is making me happier than that. And there was a part of me that was always holding on. And um, we were a great match in that egoic way. And for the last, like, I don't know, year, there were many times where I wanted to call her, and I not only couldn't, because at that point when we broke up, she had blocked me, but I also um, told myself I wasn't going to pursue it too, because I really believe that if you're wanting someone because you're in pain, then if you get them, you're filling a void, right? So you're filling a void with an addiction. You're getting the short-term quick thing to fill that hole. Now, what I believe is that hole is there also because that's the feeling I had when I was with my mom. In other words, before I, you know, before I understood how life worked with my parents and stuff, I was just this being in the moment. And as time goes on, you get your parents, they have certain rules, and there's certain things you have to do, and you have to become a certain way to get love from your parents, right? It's impossible for our parents to love us the unconditional way that we were hoping to get. So we start developing a character that if I do this, I get my mom to give me attention. And if I do this, I get my dad to give me attention. And some people's parents gave them attention in a negative way, but that was still better than nothing. So they started developing this character and goes, I get attention if I'm rebellious, or I get attention if I'm singing this song and they love it, or whatever it is. And so I know that a lot of times when we do something from our ego, it's the child trying to get your parents' love. And that is never going to happen the way that you want it. And if it does, it's just your love that you're trying to get is addictively filled. But what I really believe is under it, what we are is love. And what that kid in me that's really missing this girl and wanting her back actually needs is me to accept that kid, because the love that that kid is trying to get, I can only get from me now. So I'm aware intellectually. It's kind of like when you realize you have an addiction, like you realize, okay, I'm drinking too much, I need to stop. Well, you're aware of it, but sometimes you'll still do something while you're aware of it. Like, why am I doing this while I'm still doing it? And the real change happens when you actually take the action to embody the new awareness that you know there is. So instead of me trying to go after that pain and fill it, I know that the question I always talk about that Michael Beckwith taught me is something's trying to emerge here. I'm supposed to become something that I've never been before. And maybe I'm supposed to transcend this pain by accepting that part of myself. So I tweeted today that if you really addictively miss somebody, that's a sign that there's a part of yourself that you haven't accepted yet. So there's a part of me that just needs this love. And that's because I've never just been there with myself. So when I meditate, that kid that comes up in me and goes, I'm going to do this right, or I really want to call that person right now, I really want to feel loved, the only way I can transcend that and evolve beyond it is to sit and feel that kid, and just everything that comes up. I want to call her, I'm scared, I feel like I'm not enough, I feel alone, and just go, and I love that. I feel sad about this, and that's okay. And everything that comes up, just accept that kid. And I love that you feel that way, and I accept that you feel that way, and I just feel your heart so much, and I love you too. And after a while, a totally new, expanded you shows up. a you that really transcends that addiction and shows yourself there's a feeling of fulfillment that's under that you've never felt before. I know that if I really miss someone, that's a sign that there's even more acceptance of myself that I'm going to feel, an even bigger wholeness and an even bigger connection to myself is still coming. So that pain really means there's a pocket of a place that I've never accepted in myself, and I've always filled it with outside people. I've always filled that pain with outside of me. So instead of like trying to, grab a dinner with this person or someone that will fill that instantly or just do something addictive, which would be something I would have done in the past, instead I'm just going to feel that pain and just allow myself to be with myself and be sad. And if I sit there with my eyes closed, I get an awareness that's so big of what I'm doing, and it makes the addiction transcend really fast because I'm sitting there with my eyes closed and facing it in that moment versus going out and doing something and actually having the addiction there to distract me from facing it. So to me, that's how you actually allow something to emerge, is like I can feel the pain, and now I need to rewire my nervous system by being with the pain and accepting it. And that's actually what I mean by how I translate Michael Beckwith's sentence, what's trying to emerge. Some new me, a me that loves that kid and then can let that kid go through my acceptance of it, lets that pain go through my acceptance of it. And then I'm freer than I've ever been before. And I know enough that that's on the way. So that's why pain for me isn't scary. That's why low moments aren't scary, because I know that I'm just in a lie. I know that all pain is a lie. It's a temporary thing that I'm going through. So I'm really excited about what that can mean. And um, just having an awareness of that is one thing, and that's like now being aware that there's a treadmill and it's time for me to get on it. So that's what is going to be felt and experienced and surrendered in today's meditation. So that's how you transcend pain. I hope that makes sense, but thought I'd tell you about what I was feeling.